do weird stuff sometimes, and it's good for me. On purpose, I go out there and I just do weird, crazy things so people look at me and they judge me. And I've been making other people do it for a really long time. Do you know why? Because when you do that stuff, and you realize it doesn't matter what people think, and you get through it, and you feel good and free because you thought you were gonna die, and then actually nobody cares. It's a really powerful realization, and it sets you free. It allows you to get out there and actually live your life on your terms and do what you want to do because you stop caring what other people think. Click on the link below, and hopefully I'll see you on the course.
Human being brains do not require segues between bits of conversation. Sometimes if you like, you know, if somebody's like really engaged and then you suddenly change topics out of nowhere, but if you finish one point and then you start a completely different point, most of the time, and you guys can just verify this from your own life, you know, 9.9 times out of 10 people don't go, wait, we were just talking about something else, like not unless you're a little, you know, high. So on dates, you don't actually need lead-ins to any type of conversation. But if you would like one for turning a conversation sexual, this is tried and true. Do you guys want to hear this one? All right. So, if you guys like sex, you should know about sex. So you should have read a book about it. You should have listened to podcasts about it. You should currently have podcasts that you listen to. You should know the YouTube channels where you could look up cool sex information. Because if you like sex, you should put some effort into knowing about it and being good at it, right? Makes sense. So, your effort of doing that means you're gonna have a piece of nifty sexual information on the top of your head. For example, women can have at least 7 different types of orgasms. Raise your hand if you knew that fact. Hey, right? Yeah, liar.
I knew of 4. How about 4? Does that count? I knew there's more than one.
Okay, good. So a fact like that, or watch my video about the A-spot guys, that's a game changer, total game changer right there. That one video, Matt's shaking his head, that one video will change your sex life, that one video. And I don't usually talk like Sasha, but I am this time. Like that's it, guys, just that one thing, change your life, game change. Anyway, so okay, so you have your cool sex fact. The way that I would like to do it is I would say to the woman, hey, do you like podcasts? Doesn't matter what she says, yes or no. Because I would say, okay, well, are you familiar with the Sex Nerd Sandra podcast? Most of the time it was no. Okay, well, on that podcast, I learned this cool fact. Did you know that? Doesn't matter if she says yes or no. Hopefully she says no. Well, it doesn't really matter, right? And you could say, yeah, cool. Isn't that interesting? And now, hopefully, what we're looking for is her to be like, yes, that is interesting. Because if you can't talk to a grown woman about sex in a scholarly way, like in a, oh, let's comment on this cool thing type of way, if she can't follow you into that conversation, she ain't fucking you guys. She's too prude. If she can't have a conversation over the date about sex from a third-party perspective, you're not getting laid that night, right? And I would call that a red flag. I would call that a big red flag. Unless you are the type of guy who himself cannot talk about dating and then you'd be compatible, or cannot talk about sex. But, so you say, okay, you know, this cool sex fact, isn't that neat? So what do you like in bed? It's that simple. Introduce the sex fact that you learned from somewhere else, and then once you've put that fact on the table, oh, that's cool, huh? So do you have any experience with that? What do you like in bed? And it's super easy to go from talking about it like it's over there to talking about it like it's right here. And yeah, I mean, especially if you're looking to sleep with her that night, she needs to be able to hang in this conversation. And me, one of the things that I screen people on is sexual emancipation. I require an incredibly high degree of sexual emancipation. I got no fucking time to waste on your bullshit. So if you can't hang in my sex talk, if you get turned off by me, you know, making advances or anything like that, well, we're not compatible. We'll cut our losses. Let's be friends. See you later. Is that all good? You like that? Can you see yourself using that one?
Yes, indeed, I do.
Yeah. Now, again, you don't need to set it up like that. You could just go into it. And sometimes that's even funnier because you can be like, oh, cool. So you were a philosophy major. That's great. I'm glad we talked about that. So what's your favorite sex position? Like you can just do that.
I totally use, like, I ask them what their favorite foreplay is. And that's always like a good way to open them up and then to start talking, and then you go from there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And you're on a date. This is part of the getting to know you phase. I mean, when I met Lily, after like our first, I don't know, maybe 3 dates, I sent her this sex quiz, this sexual preference quiz. And you're both supposed to fill it out so so it basically says, I've tried this, I'm willing to try this, or I'm not willing to try this, right? So you go through and list all the different sex acts that you're into, or that you want to, or that you would be open to, and then you compare results.